Okay, we scored a low price project boat right in the middle of winter. We normally don't get this much snow in southern Ohio, but this is the most snow we've gotten in a long time. So I guess that's the best time of the year to score a low priced project boat. It's kind of a mess. There's snow in it. There was leaves in it. Maybe some of the leaves blew out. But the trailer towed well. It's got a 48 horsepower Johnson on it. 1988 Rinker. It's called a 153V. Needs a lot of work, a lot of little projects done. But we're going to get the rest of the snow out of it, and then we're going to get it into the garage and turn the heater on. I haven't yet made a list of things that I'm going to do to this, but I got some ideas. I need to see if the upholstery will clean up. It's a little gross. That captain's chair absolutely has to go because it doesn't match. And whatever kind of base it's mounted on, it's ugly. Although I sat in it and it's very comfortable to drive because of its elevated seating position. It's got some kind of super sketchy stereo in it that probably doesn't work. But I do like the simplicity of the helm. All it's got is lights. I guess that's lights. And a horn, maybe? I don't even know if that's a horn. It's got lights. It's supposed to have a bilge pump, but I don't know where that's at. I haven't seen it yet. But again, I gotta wait till everything thaws out. So, cleaned the snow out of the interior, and really it just, whatever was still frozen to the carpet, it melted overnight, so that's good. It's dripping into a bucket behind the boat. Spent some time vacuuming up what I could get, but there's still more stuff I couldn't get last night. It'll come out today, I think. I did a couple other things. The wood on the auxiliary motor mount, the kicker motor mount, rotted. When I touched it, it basically just fell off, so this is coming off anyway. Let's see, I also repaired the swim ladder that was kind of coming off of the transom. It's on there now. And then I repaired the engine mount, the motor toter. It was falling apart. Well, it did fall apart. It's not going to fall apart now. Put a bolt in there. And so today I'm going to work on cleaning the exterior of the boat and the trailer. And then I also discovered yesterday that the key won't turn in the ignition. The key seems to fit, but it will not turn to... There's a tape deck. And well, we don't know if it works yet or not because I haven't hooked the battery up. I don't think it's going to. Maybe it will. It's a little bit haywire here on the eject button, but at least it's got a 2.5 millimeter, 3.5 millimeter jack to listen to your music from your phone in it. But we'll see if we keep this or not. Probably not. Alright, this morning I got the whole bilge area cleaned out of all the leaves and stuff that was in there. And I got the floor kind of defrosted. Most of the snow is out. Most of the ice is gone. I also removed the auxiliary motor mount because you just don't need one because it's not really a fishing boat, and it was ugly and rusty. So I'm going to get all the rust stains off of here and polish it, fill in the holes. Then I also replaced this piece of wood. The carpet is in good shape, but the wood underneath it was rotten. I guess when it gets rained on, the carpet holds water, and then it just causes the wood to rot. So that one was toast, but I replaced it this morning. Alright, today so far I have sanded and painted both 2 out of the 3 trailer tires. The third one was already bright white and not rusty, so I sanded and painted those 2, make them look a little better. I also filled a few holes that were in the fiberglass up here. There's one. And then I filled a couple of holes that were where the motor mount bracket used to be. And then there was 2 or 3 of them over here as well. I also cleaned off all the salt on the trailer and on the hull underneath it. It was pretty salty. Went around there and got a wet rag and some Dawn, got everything off. It looks passable now. It looked pretty terrible and dirty before. And then the most important thing was the ignition the key doesn't turn the ignition, so it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 point, 6 point ignition. This wouldn't turn. The key fits in, but it doesn't turn. So I think that the owner either got a poorly cut key or lost it and just had this one. This is the only key he gave me, and it won't turn. So I'm going to take this to the locksmith tomorrow morning and see if they can cut me a key that'll fit in here. But if they can't, it's not that big of a deal. I can order one. I'm sure they still make OMC keys. So it took a few minutes to get the ignition apart, but there it is. So making some progress. We'll see what's on the list to do next. Alright, we still got snow out there, and we're getting like 10 more inches today, so we are definitely going to work on the boat and not go outside. But I did already go drop the ignition off at the locksmith, and the locksmith was completely confident that he could make me a key that'll fit the ignition, since I didn't get a key. So that'll save me some money from having to buy a whole new ignition or even a whole new throttle box. And today is waxing day. We've kind of already done this side, and I'm halfway done with the other side. Looks like the blue stripe is going to get a lot more blue. This one's got wax on it that I haven't removed yet. But it is a big improvement for only a little bit of time spent. So waxing and ignition. If I can get the ignition back today before more snow comes down, before the locksmith closes, I can make some real progress on maybe doing a compression check on this thing, which is supposed to run. The flywheel's not locked up, so that's good. It spins very freely. And again, the last owner did say it runs, but we have yet to prove that yet, since there was no way to start and run it in the snow, and he didn't even have a key that fit, even though he didn't know he didn't have a key that fit. All right, so onward with the waxing. Okay, it's been about 3 hours since the last time I made an update, and the snowpocalypse is about to start. We're only getting freezing rain now, but it's going to start blizzarding here anytime, so glad I'm in a heated garage. All right, so I got the whole thing waxed, and I got the wax removed from both sides. The navy blue line was pretty faded, and now it looks acceptable, I would say. Not great, but acceptable. Got it done on both sides. Used the power buffer and some Meguiar's. Also, I got a couple of stickers scraped off up here. There was a bass sticker there. Somebody tried to turn this into a fishing boat at one point, but it makes a better recreational boat, family boat, bow rider than it does a fishing boat. If you want to get a fishing boat, just get one of those. So I have removed as much fishing equipment off of here as I could. Also, I took off the air cleaner right here, and I wanted to make sure that there was no old gasoline in the 2 carburetors, and luckily there wasn't. There are 2 little bolts down here and down here underneath the float bowl that you just unscrew, and if there's any gas in there, it comes right out. That's what you're supposed to do when you winterize it. Luckily, there was no fuel in here at all, But I don't think it's because the last owner did a great job of winterizing it. I think it's just because the fuel probably evaporated. So the good news is there's no old fuel in the carbs, so maybe the carbs are in good shape. The locksmith has not finished rekeying my ignition yet, so I haven't gotten to do a compression test or anything. Hopefully I can pick that up as soon as the snow is over. And then here we go. Got some more blue stripe here. It's a lot darker blue than it was a few hours ago. That is the update for now. Scrape the sticker off here. That's the update for now. We'll see what else comes today. Last time I made an update, the ignition was out at the locksmith. Well, the locksmith wasn't able to repair the ignition without taking it apart. There was a piece inside of this little black ignition switch that was actually broken, and so they took it apart, they broke it apart, he fixed it, and he taped it back together. But because of the fact that they had to take it fully apart to fix it, they didn't even charge me anything because they can't guarantee their work. So, but the guy did a good job. I put all 6 of the connecting wires back onto the ignition and put it back in the throttle box and bolted the throttle box back to the side of the boat. And now when I turn the key, I hooked up a battery also back there. When I turn the key, the motor starts extremely strong. So there you have it. The motor started pretty strong there. The spark was just because the stereo wire popped off of the battery there. So as soon as I got my nice strong starting motor, now it's on. So it's time to, of course, do the least logical thing and see if the stereo works, because we got to have a stereo. And so I plugged the stereo. I had to put a couple of new ends here on the stereo, this one and that one, because the old ones were corroded and just bad. They didn't work. As soon as I put 2 new ends on the stereo, it came right to life. So let's go ahead and put this on here. Alright, so over here we have a classic cassette tape deck, and it turned on. I haven't gotten the AM/FM to work yet, but as soon as I plugged in my phone to the 3.5mm jack, it did allow me to play auxiliary music through the who knows what kind of speakers we've got here, and it did work. So the volume works, the music works, the stereo comes on. Everything looks good on this. And just in case you were wondering, this is a 50-watt total output cassette tape deck. So I don't think they make those anymore. But it works. I may or may not replace the speakers. They look like garbage, and they're probably blown, but they can play sound. I don't think I have any non-copyrighted music to play to demonstrate it yet, but it worked. So alright, little boat update here. I got about 3/4 of a trash can worth of rotten wood out of this floor, which will lighten the boat, I guess, but really you just can't have rotten wood in here. And we're kind of down to the foam and the fiberglass. So I've got a lot of treated wood left from when I built a fence in the backyard, and we're going to re-support the floor with pressure treated wood, and then we're going to lay either some plastic over the top of it, or we're going to lay some more treated wood over the top of it. I think I'm going to get a sheet of plastic. So I'm going to kind of do something like what you see here and support the stringers, and it should be pretty sturdy when we're done. I've been doing some marine carpentry here. I don't even know if that's a thing, but little bit of carpentry. I got some floor supports built, and they're pretty darn sturdy. It looks like it's going to do a good job of holding up the new floor. My new floor parts should be here within the next day or two, and I'm not quite done with this yet. I got to do one more cross beam up there, but I'm pretty happy with how it's going so far. This is definitely going to support the new floor really well. My aquatic carpentry is now complete. You can walk on that, you can jump on it, you can break dance on it, and it's not going anywhere. So also yesterday my plastic, what they call seaboard, arrived. It's only 3/8 thick, but it's really strong. They use it to make deck lids and floorboards and stuff like that on modern boats. So this floor piece is going to be cut the same size as that old rotten floor piece, and I haven't decided if I'm going to cover it in carpet, blue carpet, or some kind of marine foam yet, but I'm at least happy that the parts are here so I can finish the floor. Today I cut the plastic floorboards, and I carefully loaded them into the boat, and they're nice and solid to walk on. I'm not a master carpenter or even an amateur carpenter, nor do I pretend to be one on YouTube, but a couple simple cuts with the saw, and I got it to be the exact same shape as the old ones that were made out of wood that had been rotten. So the plastic is really nice. You could do some tap dancing in here or whatever you need to do. It's pretty good. Even if it's only 3/8 thick, and it's still good to walk on. Of course, you need floor supports, which I now have, but happy with how this turned out. So I got to figure out, I just got to screw it down to the floor and or carpet it, which is probably going to be both. I have to decide if I want to carpet it and then screw it down to the floor, or screw it down to the floor first and then put the carpet over the top. I'm thinking the first choice, but I haven't decided yet. Alright, I've got the seaboard completely carpeted and all the way in here, and I'm pretty happy with how it looks, and it's super solid to walk on. You could break dance in here or do whatever you like. So got all the pieces up here, got them all back there. It runs all the way back to the transom, and now all I have to do is secure it, and it should be ready to install the seats. I've got the new seats in. First I secured the floor, then I got the seats in, and I think it looks really good. The new carpet is wonderful compared to what was in there. Let's take a look up here. This is a new seat here. Those are the seats that came with it. Cleaned them up. Looks pretty good. I also managed the stereo wires, uncoiled the stereo wires and hit them a bit. That makes a big difference. Cleaned it up. Looking good. It's almost time to start the outboard motor.